I set up an entire manufacturing line right at home, and somehow I'm able to produce over $40,000 worth of product every month. No factory, no staff.
What about me?
Except my wife. I assemble my own PCBs, manufacture parts. We do the kitting, assembly, testing, all of it here in-house. I'll walk you through the entire process and the major key steps to make this possible. But before I do, you're probably wondering, why in the world are we doing this all from home? When you're starting out, budgets are gonna be tight, and factories, well, they charge an arm and a leg. Plus, usually they want monthly minimums. And with the tariffs, going abroad, unfortunately, not really an option. So instead, I decided to bootstrap and actually prove that it is possible to run a small business, a hardware business, directly out of your own house. It's not easy, but it's possible. So what exactly am I making that's actually worth all this effort? It's called the Micro Racer. It's a tiny open sourced racing car that spins out when it hits an obstacle and speeds up when it hits a boost. It's really, really cool. Every kit that we produce comes as a build-it-yourself project, but the best thing, you get to learn how it works. And for a limited time, I'm adding free access to my private paid community with a purchase of a Micro Racer. So if you want one, check it out at stockappprototype.com. And I'm super proud to be making them right here. So let's jump into the lab. Thankfully, I already own a pick and place. Now, to be clear, it's not easy to assemble your own PCBs by any stretch of imagination, and it is time consuming. You need to deal with inventory, supply chain issues, procedures, and not to mention the work itself. PCB assembly is actually one of the most time consuming pieces of the entire manufacturing process for my Micro Racers. Unfortunately, the machine I have cannot do all the components, and therefore I have to even do hand assembly. I have to solder, I have to fix the components. It's kind of a nightmare. Apula, reach out. And then there is cleaning, and then finally testing. For testing the PCBs, I've written the custom firmware. I have a tiny little jig that I made that we use with pogo pins to make sure that all the motors spin, all the motors function, that the color sensor functions. Now, this is a stopgap solution. It's going to be updated over time. I'm imagining this big jig where you press a button, you put in that PCB, press a button, and the whole thing is just tested for you. But we'll get there, one step at a time. For now, I have my lovely assistant doing that for me. Any board that does not pass goes directly into the reject bin. We mark them with these super tiny, neat little arrow stickers that help pinpoint the issues. And being at the source of action, it allows me to fix the procedures, establish the procedures, so when we are ready to move to a bigger space, hire employees, and really scale this thing, we will be able to, we'll be ready. And it will save me thousands and countless hours down the line. It's just how it works. But PCBs are just the beginning of the story. We also need to manufacture other parts. For plastics, we do 3D printing. 3D printing one-off is one thing, but 3D printing hundreds, that's a completely different adventure. Before upgrading my 3D printer, I went through tens, maybe hundreds of failed parts trying to get consistent results. Prusa was kind enough to actually send me a Core 1 completely free without any stipulations, which is kind of crazy. And this thing is changing the game for me completely. The first layer is perfect every single time I've printed so far on this thing. The print quality is amazing. It looks like an injection molded part now, which is kind of crazy, from a 3D printer. The first layer for me is key, because the first layer is actually what's facing the customer. So a big thank you to Prusa for sending me the Core 1. Okay, but what happens when everything is actually manufactured? Well, we divided the whole entire process into sub-processes. That's the only way to really, without space, do this. There's no other way. So, I have my assembly line for PCBs. I have a day where I do the PCBs, and that's the only thing I do. Then, I go in and 3D print plastics and so forth. When we kit the plastics, that's all we're doing at that point in time. So that way, it is 100 of one thing, not 100 different things, if that makes sense. It's one process for that specific day or that specific block of time. The thing that you're gonna run into at home, manufacturing at home, is that you have to put away all your manufacturing line and actually still live here, right? I think this is the biggest drawback of manufacturing at home. The amount of boxes and the amount of stuff, my goodness. But hey. So it is almost impossible to set up permanent spots unless you have the space, but that's a different story. For us, we take our kits, we take it out, we do the procedure, we kit, we put it into Ziplocs and so forth, and then we set the product that's ready to go into a kit or to the next step to the side. And by the way, having a supportive family is actually probably one of the most important things in this whole entire adventure. Just want to say that. So if you zoom out, the whole entire production run has macro steps. And we have quite a bit of macro steps. We have to manufacture, again, the PCBs, the plastics, the wheels, the stickers and so forth that go into this kit. And then we kit that into its own packaged good. But we're not done yet, because fulfillment is actually pretty tricky. And to be honest, I was a little bit surprised. I was expecting it to go a lot smoother, but there are some gotchas there. Different customers will order different amount of products, and we've had a range from anywhere from literally 1 to 6 kits at once. And that means we have to have different boxes and different sizes for the actual shipping. We have to have bubble wrap. You have to think about all of this ahead of time. And to even add another wrench into the mix, if you're shipping abroad, for example, to Europe like we do, CE requires for you to put in a manual in that specific language that you're shipping to. We had to translate all the manuals, put them into specific boxes for the specific customer because that's the language that's required for that specific country, and then only then package up the boxes, put on the labels, buy the shipping labels, get them to the shipping service, and finally ship them out. Procedures, checklist, and partitioning your work into smaller, manageable pieces and repeatable steps is the key to success. Right now, our production line literally exists in our dining room, our garage, my office, and the whole house. We're still improving and learning constantly, but we are the living proof that it is possible to do this. And I encourage anyone that has a dream to do this. This is crazy. Go for it. Do it. Why not? I hope this video gave you at least a glance into our world. What happens if you set up a manufacturing line at home? And if you like this video, subscribe. And if you want to support us, hey, check out StuckUpPrototype.com and pick up one of our kits. Thanks so much, and I will see you in the next one.